Havas Medium Berhad is a company that established on 2015 and is stay in the middle of Kuala Terengganu. This name was inspired by Azerbaijan language, and this company's founder, which is Billy Wafasa, was influenced to build this kind of company due to the La Nina and El Nino phenomenon. This phenomenon of course has affected people in East Coast area generally, but all people around this country can also buy our product, which is raincoat, for their outdoor trip in case there was a rain. We made a raincoat because the rubber has easily to get at here, and motorcyclists or pedestrians can get this raincoat with low price and high quality.
Our company facing scarcity of labor intensive. This is because Malaysia have a lot of graduated citizens and they do not want to work in factory industry due to their cheaper salary. In this case, we cannot produce our goods as customers' demands.
Next, we need to make a choice to determine what the best item that we need to produce so that our company can gain more profit. Havas Medium Berhad decided to focus more on raincoat instead of float. Since our company are located in Terengganu, during monsoon season, people at here, especially motorcyclists and pedestrians, will purchase more raincoat because raincoat are very functional to them at this situation. Meanwhile, for float, we will eliminate it since we don't have enough worker to produce both goods at the same time.
Our company Havas Medium Berhad had to give up to produce float because limited labor intensive. So our company chose to produce more raincoat.
Havas Medium Berhad chose to produce raincoats due to the high demand, especially now Malaysia is facing the monsoon season. We found out that sales of raincoats are increasing at a higher rate than float. Even though the monsoon season has already gone, Malaysia is a country with a tropical climate change where the rainfall is relatively high. So we designed a water-resistant raincoat that made by a nylon material which is comfortable and affordable to our consumers. We have checked every single detail to produce our raincoat, start from designing, sizing and sewing. To save our time more in producing it, we use capital-intensive method. We can reduce the number of labor and machinery. Our manufacturing system are computerized and being controlled by computer. Once it was set up, the machine will produce it according to the system and it produces great quality of raincoat.
Havas Medium Berhad has decided to produce 1,500 units of raincoat per month to meet the demand of our customer. We produce the product with dark quantity because this month the weather in Malaysia has become a rainy season. So many consumers will request of raincoat. Havas Medium Berhad is target for everyone, either adult and children who can afford our product. Our raincoat also is for motorcyclists and pedestrians who are living in the East Coast area, since the East Coast area often rain heavily every day.
Relate to our product, we can define law of demand as a negative relationship between the price and the quantity demand of raincoat. It is shown that the lower price of raincoat, the higher quantity demand of our raincoat will be requested. Meanwhile, when the higher price of raincoat, the lower quantity demand of this good will be requested. We can see clearly the price level and quantity demand as diagram shown. As we know, the East Coast states have been hit by the monsoon season, which caused a heavy rain in some area, and for that, motorcyclists and pedestrians will face a problem for going out to work or buy something at store due to this weather. As we know, due to the high demand for raincoat, the price of this good automatically increase from RM12 to RM40, and for that, the quantity demand of raincoat will decrease from 1,500 to 1,400 units, and this will cause movement upwards along the demand curve. Due to the cold weather outside, people more prefer to stay in their house and not going anywhere, and for that, people will minimize their request to our raincoat because there no need to buy raincoat if they don't use it, and for this will cause the price of this good drop from RM40 to RM12. This movement will cause movement downward along the demand curve.
From the diagram, we clearly can see the quantity demanded decreasing from 1,400 to 1,300. This is because the number of buyers who want to purchase our product decreasing. Our product will be demanded by people who use motorcycle or pedestrian. So for those who use another transportation, they will not bother to buy our product. So in this case, the graph will shifting inward from D0 to D2. For this factor, we know people nowadays love to follow the trend that pop up on their social media. We as seller will make sure we produce products suits with customers' wants. Because of this, we designed our raincoat by unique design to attract a lot of people to buy it. In conclusion, our graph will shifting outward from D0 to D1 because we fulfill our customers' demand.
Supply is defined as a positive relationship between the price of our quantity and the quantity supply for our raincoat. It is shown that the lower price of our raincoat, the lower quantity supply will be produced. Meanwhile, the higher price of our raincoat, the higher quantity supply will be produced of this good. Due to the monsoon season, our company expects that the price of our raincoat will be increased. From that situation, we will produce more raincoat to get a profit. So, Harvest Sdn Bhd made price increase to 12 ringgit to 14 ringgit. At one time, our production will increase the quantity supply from 1,100 to 1,200 pieces. Therefore, our supply of raincoat will increase along with the price in the market, and there will be a movement outward along with the supply curve. The monsoon season soon will be over, so many consumers will reduce to use our product because it won't rain all the time. So they decided to not to buy our product again. So Harvest Sdn Bhd had to decrease the price of raincoat from 14 ringgit to 12 ringgit. As the price is decreased, the quantity supply also will decrease from 1,200 to 1,100. From the situation occur, there will be a movement downward along the supply curve.
Malaysian government decided to impose goods and tax services. This will affect the cost of production to produce raincoat. If the cost increasing, we also need to increase price per unit of raincoat. This is the reason why the graph shifting inward from S0 to S1. Since we want to make it easier to produce raincoat, we bought new machinery to reduce time to make a unit of raincoat. With the new machinery, we can produce more raincoat in one time. This is the reason why the graph will shifting outward from S0 to S2.
Cross-elasticity of demand is the responsiveness of the change in quantity demanded of Harvest Sdn Bhd raincoat due to the change in price the North Face raincoat. Since many consumers try their best to save their money, they will choose the product that have a cheaper price. For example, if the price the North Face raincoat will increase from 20 ringgit to 30 ringgit, while the quantity demanded of Harvest Sdn Bhd raincoat also will increase to 400 to 600 pieces. So, consumer will reduce the consumption of the North Face raincoat because of the expensive price. Thus, people will substitute the North Face raincoat to Harvest Sdn Bhd raincoat due to the cheaper price.
Because of erratic weather in Malaysia, people always bring their raincoat along for preparation. It was useful to bring during outdoor activities such as biking and hiking. This is making our company to change the price responsively. We can produce more raincoat and gain more profit, which is lead to an elastic supply curve. It make a change in the quantity supply too.
As a seller, we are really responsive in the change in price. So we decided to produce more raincoat as customers want. If before this we produced 5 units in 10 minutes, now we are producing it 50 units in 10 minutes. This is because we want to make sure the quantity supply is same as quantity demand. So in this case, Our company will be operating in long term with short-run production.
Mobility and availability of resources. Our product materials has no problem to be supplied because Malaysia is one of the biggest contributors of raw rubber. We can produce our product at any time because the necessary materials is already in Malaysia.
We will get equilibrium price, which is 60 ringgit, and equilibrium quantity, which is 400 units, when the supply curve intersect with demand curve. Due to the equality in it, seller and consumer have determined the price and quantity of raincoat to exchange.
They are equal to the tendency which is seller and consumer are determine the price and quantity of raincoat to exchange. However, if the price increasing, we will occur the problem of surplus. It is because the quantity supply is greater than quantity demand. On the other hand, if the price decreasing, we will face the problem of shortage. It is because the quantity of demand is greater than quantity of supply.
The government decided to impose 2 ringgit 50 cent per unit of raincoat. Our company decided to pay more tax burden, which is 2 ringgit, in order to avoid making lower profit, as well as consumer will pay 50 cent per unit of raincoat. Our product cannot set higher price because consumer sensitive toward change in price, and they will cut their consumption of good as price increase since the demand is elastic. Based on the timetable, the total paid by the consumer is 200 and the total paid by the producer is 800. So, the total revenue received by the government is 1,000 ringgit.
Our company decided to produce more raincoat due to the monsoon season. People will buy it, especially who ride a motorcycle. We are also planning to come up with a new design to give more attractive for customers to buy in. We hope by doing this, it will increase our raincoat demand and supply.